What's up, guys? My name is BitVOLT7 from the CryptoKreamers. My apologies, my partner, Homeboy Mark, couldn't make it today. And today we're going to be talking to the founder and CEO of the BlueWallet, a Bitcoin-only wallet for the iPhone. Hi, Nuno. How are you? Welcome to the podcast.
Hi there. I'm great. Thanks for having me. I guess super happy to be here.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. Like what made you get into crypto?
What made me get into crypto? I guess many things. Like first in Bitcoin, not crypto. I have a huge preference to try to make things simple and not complicated with crypto terms. So Bitcoin. Like many things, like I think the most important or the first one is the self-sovereignty, censorship resistant part. I'm original from Portugal, and the last recession was pretty much like something big there, where a lot of people lost money, where the banks took money away from many people. So it's something that totally makes sense for me, and it was very easy to understand why Bitcoin, why we need an alternative system, and why this kind of things make sense in the end of the day. Like, yeah, go ahead.
So did you live through that where the banks, took a haircut off of your balances?
Yeah, I lived through that, and it was pretty bad. Basically, it's a poor country, and I think everyone in the end of the day felt it. Not everyone got their bank accounts confiscated, let's say it, but many people did. And most of the people that in the end of the day didn't get their money back were like old people where their entire lives were on these banks. So it's kind of pretty sad to see at the time, and it's kind of pretty sad to see still today because that money never came back.
Yeah, it's really interesting you say that, because that just keeps it keeps becoming a reoccurring term,
Yeah.
especially with the way that the financial system is structured today. We keep seeing this where central banks do not respond. They do not behave. They do not behave responsibility with the power entrusted in them, right? And at the end of the day, the consumer is the one that's, excuse my language, fucked over, right? So I definitely agree completely with your points. And what from that experience, what made you want to start BlueWallet?
Well, at the time, so we were around 2017 on the last bull run when we started thinking about BlueWallet, and basically what we saw was people flocking to custodial systems, mainly Coinbase at the time. I think it was just pretty much everyone was using Coinbase. And basically what I saw from my side was that, okay, if everyone is going to Coinbase, there's still a lot to build, because this is not the way we should. This should happen. So it felt to me at the time that there is too much to build, too many things that need to be built, to like infrastructure, applications, different solutions, and not essentially people flocking for the speculation. And just have their Bitcoin on an example in this case Coinbase, but it there was this thing in the air that more things are still needed.
Yeah, there was an opportunity that you saw and you went for it. So that actually segues perfectly into my next question, because you obviously know I've been using the BlueWallet to basically have watch only addresses to keep track of my balances. And I noticed recently, a couple days ago, that you guys added a peer-to-peer marketplace on the application. So is that where you're going to?
Like maybe so. Like yeah, we are trying this peer-to-peer marketplace with using all the whole infrastructure, and the reason for that, like first we need more peer-to-peer solutions. Like I think that's the first thing, because that's the point in the end of the day, to have people transacting peer-to-peer. So having more peer-to-peer solutions on the market that don't require KYC, are non-custodial, and in this case, all the whole is pretty cool because they use their own multi-sig system, which basically allows to do an escrow without anyone in the middle being
Yeah,
involved.
sort of like the Bist network. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this. It's like different concepts on how to achieve the same goal. One uses a centralized service, another one every user has their own node. But in this case, like we met with all the guys in Riga last year, and like we just decided to try their system because they wanted to go in this route as well, as providing the service for people to build on top, and having more open source coming from their side as well. So it
Amazing.
felt a nice opportunity for both projects.
Amazing, amazing. So, if you had to give someone an elevator pitch, are you familiar with that terminology?
I'm familiar with elevator pitches.
So, if you had to give someone an elevator pitch on the philosophy and design of the BlueWallet, could you do that for us?
Yeah, sure. So BlueWallet is an open financial system on your pocket disguised as a cute little blue app, if that makes sense.
It makes sense to me, but it might not make sense to our audience. So
Yeah.
could you?
So to try to unpack that, like so BlueWallet is basically an interface for the Bitcoin network, and it provides you a way to interact with the network in the way that we want, on your own rules, with self-sovereign principles. And the part that is disguised as a little blue app is mainly because on the design philosophy behind it, that is a wallet that tries to be simple, tries to not be scary, and tries to put in the best way we can do the best practice on the Bitcoin concepts, from how to build transactions, how to onboard users, or now after you get onboarded, how you can get more advanced concepts like running full nodes, like doing batching, like controlling your fees, etc. So yeah, in the end of the day, it's a simple app that tries to give you a lot of power.
Okay,
Yeah.
so to summarize your response, basically it's you're I wouldn't say disguise because that's not the right word, but basically it's a complex wallet. I'm going to use disguise because I can't think of another word. Disguised as a simple Bitcoin wallet. And that actually segues perfectly to my next question, which is what if someone asked you that was just getting into crypto and they asked you, what wallet do you recommend, right? Obviously, you're going to say BlueWallet because you're the developer. But what would be the difference between, let's say, the blockchain.info wallet, which is the worst of them all, to BlueWallet? Like what would, as an average user, that doesn't know anything about full nodes, doesn't know anything about privacy, doesn't know anything about this. They just want to be able to have a wallet so that they can send and receive.
Yeah.
What would be the difference?
That's a great question, because blockchain is a like massively used wallet, and there's a lot of the traffic on the Bitcoin network at the moment. I think around, I don't know, 20 to 30%, if I remember correctly. But basically, so compared to blockchain info wallet, like BlueWallet gives you two main things that you should care about. One is a native segwit addresses that basically will allow you to save around 46% on each transaction. And it also gives you completely fee control. So imagine that you are not in a rush to do a transaction, you can pay less, or if you are in a rush, you can decide how much that rush is. So it gives you more control in the end of the day, and at the same time promotes best practice on how to use Bitcoin, which we don't see blockchain doing for the last, I don't know, 4 to 3 years at least.
So basically what you're saying is it's promoting the best Bitcoin practices in the wallet, and that's why you would recommend it to somebody else, correct?
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
Okay, and I noticed that you guys use your own Electrum server,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, someone who runs, you know, someone who runs, you know, I don't run a whole Electrum server. I run an Electrum personal server, but you know, from the privacy aspect, right? For a user of the Blue Wallet, it you know, it kind of goes against each other, right? Because at the end of the day, the Blue Wallet user is still relying on the Blue Wallet's node to, you know, keep their privacy under wraps, right? So do you guys have a future in, you know, getting and pointing more people away from relying on Blue Wallet's own node?
Yeah, like I think that's a complicated area. So first, we do rely on our nodes, and there are many ways to build a wallet, right? But let's not get into that, at least for now. But we do try to promote full node usage through, in this case, Electrum. And this is a feature we released last year. Like it took a lot of work to make this open source and available to everyone. In this case, we choose to go with a Electrum, like just I guess inclusivity principles. Like we do a lot based on that. So for instance, we use React Native because it's easier from the developer side to get more developers on board. And we choose to use Electrum because it's the most well-known implementation or most used implementation out there. And in this case, we after we launch and we spent a little time with a closed backend, we open source the backend, and we try to incentivize like full node connection most as we can. But this is something that needs to be like worked on. I'm not sure if from the client's perspective, also from the Bitcoin protocol part, like nodes need to be easier to run, they need to be cheaper to run. We need more node providers, making easy ways for people to build their own nodes or for people to buy their own nodes wherever they feel comfortable with. So it's kind of a community effort and not just like a single application effort that doesn't really work or scale. So yeah, we need for sure more ways, and they are appear on the market. Like we nowadays have like 4, 5, 6 companies providing nodes, and we are in a way better position than we were, for instance, in the last in the last halving compared to today. Yeah, like
Yeah.
this kind of companies were not here, so that's a good thing.
I
In terms
agree.
of the wallet perspective, what we can do. I'm not sure. Like we can partner with these companies. We can partner with these solutions, but in the end of the day, running nodes, I think it's like an individual responsibility.
Yeah.
Hopefully, in the next halving, in 4 years, we're gonna have nodes on your own phone, and people will just be running around with their own nodes.
Yeah, because that you know, I don't think that people understand, you know, how important it is to run your own node if you're using if you're using it from day-to-day transactions, you know, like if you're not holding a significant amount of Bitcoin. But it's extremely important to run your own node. You know, like you want to be the validator. You know, you don't want to rely on, you know, like you said, 6 companies. You know, And even though those 6 companies have good reputations, you don't want to completely, you don't want to completely rely on them to basically be the validator of the entire network. But I also do agree with your point that it is slowly but surely becoming a little bit more decentralized. And that's a great idea. Maybe the BlueWallet will be, one of those nodes in your pocket.
Maybe like I think a nice product, a cool product to be built will be something like make nodes cool again, like with the same principle that we, for instance, try to build BlueWallet, try to make it simple and cool to use as a wallet. That someone come up, okay, this is our cool product to run a node will be like. Because if you think about it, if you try to run Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Core wallet, like is an awful, not awful, but it's like a wallet that hasn't been touched for years, or people don't try to not touch it that much. And then you have other solutions like Electrum or BTC Pay Server that are doing a great job, but are not that, like it's not that cool yet to run an Electrum server, for instance.
So I'm going to go on a sidetrack because I want to get your opinion as well. This is a little bit more complex question just for the audience.
Yeah.
So if you want, just skip like 30 to 1 minute part of this conversation. So I'm curious as to what you run, and I'll tell you what I run. So I basically run a Raspberry Pi, and it has Bitcoin Core installed, and it has Electrum Personal Server, and that's what I use as my node. It's tiny. It's like this big, right? But if I told my if I told my mom like, hey, set this up, she would go crazy. So I'm curious as to what you run as your node.
I'm just run a computer. Like I usually just run it on prune mode because what I like to do with my node is not really transactions or validation. I like to try to change things on the Bitcoin Core wallet or try to find ways to improve the usability there. So I'm trying to build things there. But in the end of the day, I just run the stack that BlueWallet is using. So
you're an active contributor to Bitcoin Core?
No, but I'm just trying to see how much can we touch it from the wallet perspective. Like, and I'm not sure if I'm about to give up or not. But I've been trying for the last weeks to touch on the Bitcoin QTY, and it's kind of a nightmare.
So let me ask you, what because this segues perfectly into this next question. So what's your tech background? Like, where did you learn how to develop?
Like, I started my career, my professional career as a developer, and then I changed more to the design world. But like I'm been basically hacking things since I don't know, since I was 10.
Okay.
I'm comfortable more on the front end side nowadays. That's why I've been trying to hack Bitcoin Core's wallet, and on BlueWallet, that's my main focus on the front end side as well.
It's super interesting because so our podcast is called CryptoKreamers, obviously, and it's a group of traders, developers, and whatnot, and the two best developers on the CryptoKreamers, it's the same. They gave the same exact response you did. It's like I started learning when I was 10, 11, 12, and fast forward 10 years later, and they're some of the best developers there are. I just started developing. I just started learning Python like 6 months ago, but wow, I'm horrible. So I'll stick to hardware. Anyways, so my next question is, how much money did you guys raise in order to fund this project?
Like that's not a disclosed amount, but
no. Forgive me. I don't mean like I don't mean go into the details or any of that. Like I mean general answer. Like, did you guys have trouble raising money for this? And in which way did you go about it?
Yeah. So just to give you like a little background on that. So project started not 2 years ago yet. and the first year we just the first year and a half we just bootstrapped by ourselves. And the basically idea at the beginning was just to build something for ourselves. Like there wasn't really a wallet on the market that we like to use. Like there was Bread, but then Bread started to add a lot of coins and so on. So that's like our wallet also started to be a Bitcoin only wallet, and especially for iOS because there was nothing there. So basically we were building the wallet for ourselves. And like last year we got a lot of attention, especially because of our Lightning solution. So it was not hard to raise money. It took a while to figure out what will be the best the best corporation profile, like where to incorporate, how is Europe a good place or is not? Is the States the best place to be? So like we spend a bit of time on that. Mm-hmm. Because it's complicated, right? You have like it's not getting easy to do Bitcoin companies, especially if you deal with fiat. Is kind of a nightmare. So we spent a little time on that. Like raising itself was not that difficult. It was difficult to find investors that can understand Bitcoin and why only Bitcoin. Like usually the main question was like, why are you just working with Bitcoin and not the other coins? And usually when the conversation starts that way, you know that it's not going anywhere. So basically we had some people that reached out that understood what we were doing and wanted to help us out, and that was super cool.
Okay, awesome. So that's another great segue to my next question. Why did you decide to do a Bitcoin only wallet? It's not a loaded question because
it's a hard question to reply without sounding very biased, you know. But once you understand something or you have an idea, it's really hard to go back. So like building something Bitcoin only, it's, I don't know, it just makes sense. Like so you're going to spend the rest of your life working on something. Better be something good that can help people. Like so, you have two main categories on the crypto. Let's call it the crypto space nowadays. You have censorship resistance, that is Bitcoin, and you have speculation. Like I'm not really interested in working on speculation. Like that's not why I want to wake up in the morning. So I prefer to work on censorship resistant and for a new kind of, like in the end of the day, I think you're going to have fintech and you're going to have freedom tech. And I think that's what Bitcoin will be. And that's what BlueWallet will be focused on.
Awesome. Just to keep in mind, I'm completely a Bitcoin maximalist. Because some of our clients do mine alt currencies, specifically Zcash and Saya. I do have a responsibility to understand those projects very well, but the majority of my portfolio, I think it's like 97% Bitcoin. So I'm on your boat. Now, do you have any plans to launch on Android?
Yeah, we launched on Android already for a while.
Because I didn't hear that much about it. About the Android version.
It's been there for a while. Like it was not our first release, but it was like I think 6 months later or something like that.
Okay.
So we have been on Android for a while. And it's becoming the most popular platform nowadays. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Sorry, that was my bad for not doing the research a little bit more. Do you feel like it was easier to develop for the iPhone or for Android?
Like most of the heavy work on the app is done by Igor and Marcus, but like in the end of the day, doing React Native, it's a good option if you want to be on both platforms, because it's just hard to find like if you have to find developers for both platforms, like it becomes it's the double of the problem.
I understand.
But I think there are challenges like that are just normal challenge. Like luckily in the end of the day, like there are like stable and already like well-established frameworks that you can use. In our case, we are using Bitcoin GS. So props to the guys that do Bitcoin GS, because it's an amazing framework that you can just develop on top and does most of the heavy work on the Bitcoin stuff, like dealing with fees or dealing with how to build transactions and so on. So that helps. That
Awesome.
helps for sure.
So I run a I don't run, but I built a Raspberry Pi, and I use the MyNode BTC software, and as you know, it integrated with the BlueWallet. How hard was that? How hard was that integration?
Like to be honest, like the cool thing about open source is that sometimes people do stuff that you are not even aware about, and that was the case. Like when my node launched, and I saw that they had the BlueWallet support by default without even asking anything. It was just amazing.
Oh, okay. So
Basically,
that's
yeah.
amazing. Wow. Okay. Cool.
Basically, just happened. Like I saw their product, I found interest, and I went to check out, and I saw BlueWallet support with LND app support and so on. It was just, oh, okay, that's interesting.
So that definitely tells you that you guys are in the right direction. But yeah. So if hold on, give me 1 second. So if you had any words to any of our watchers right now on why they should pick the BlueWallet over everything else, what would it be?
Oof, I can. My God, I can go in so many directions. Like I think the thing that I really like about the wallet and that people should pay attention about is the interoperability factor. That if something happens, you can easily switch to any other wallet. Like we nowadays are supporting a lot of wallet formats, so you can easily come in and import your wallets and just play with it. So I think that's like one of the one advantage of the cool features at least that we are providing. And then that I like a lot compared to other solutions that are using their own way to generate private keys or to generate or their own derivation paths, which is very like from a wallet building perspective doesn't make any sense. So yeah, try to choose a wallet that not specifically BlueWallet, but make sure that your wallet provides interoperability, that you can change between wallets, that provides the last features on the Bitcoin stack, like native SegWit, PSBT, etc.
Awesome. So for the audience members that are wondering, what he means is basically you want to pick up you want to pick a Bitcoin wallet that is interoperable. Sorry, my English is terrible.
Yeah, that's an amazing word, interoperability.
English is my third language, so forgive me for my mispronunciation. But you basically want to choose a wallet that, if the worst case scenario comes and BlueWallet drops off the face of the planet, you could use another wallet and import your seed into the new wallet, and it should restore your wallet completely. Anyways, one of the last question, which is typical CryptoKreamers fashion, is what is your favorite ice cream?
I'm gonna go with vanilla caramel.
Vanilla caramel. No way you said that. You know the guy that we interviewed yesterday. Who was it that we interviewed yesterday? It was.
We went to the same flavor.
He said the same thing. Hold on, my memory's terrible. Oh, it was the CEO of Luxor Pool. It's a Bitcoin / altcoin mining pool, and he gave me the same answer. So that's really funny. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys like what you hear, if you guys want the #1 Bitcoin iPhone or Android wallet on the market, make sure to download the BlueWallet. It's linked down in the description. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of CryptoKreamers. See you guys later.